Is crime going to get any worse? Yes, it is. Just look at America. Alabaster Codified reports on their latest mess.
Badenoid with Chuck Badenoid. Top talk topics stateside right now.
Priests with guns.
The priests who say they must pack a peace to keep the peace.
Last week I had, maybe 200, 300 in the congregation. I got up in front of them and I said, anybody here who's got a gun can leave now. 10 minutes later, 3 people are left. 2 kids and a deaf guy.
The Padre Noir really took off after Minister Volkus Wabe was shot at a baptism for forgetting the baby's name.
Fucking asshole!
More and more, the Holy Flock is becoming a gory gun-gregation. Practicing 4 times a week, Father Kupek's a fully fledged revolverand.
Tell us about the style you had there.
But I use the one-handed grip. It actually gives you a smaller profile if there's answering fire, like from the congregation or something.
And in Kupek's church, a would-be shootist doesn't have a prayer.
This is a defensive measure which is bulletproof, and the hole has been cut so I can return fire. That was the pimp that took the crucifix out of my church and put it on his car.
That's the holy gun spell, according to St. Marksman.
Got him that time.
And there's even ad campaigns to recruit more pistol apostles.
No room at the inn? There is now.
Judas, you plan to betray me.
Despite the increasing violence against priests, many say they are simply too revved up to handle guns, as at this wedding where Minister Pat Rizzo shot a guest in the leg. The issue peaked on TV yesterday on a rat-a-tat-tat show, Showdown, featuring Kupek and the 2 protagonists.
You were shot by a minister with a gun.
That's right.
Okay, you were shot by this minister with a gun.
Oh.
This is Pat Rizzo, the man who shot us at the wedding. Okay, now I know you haven't seen him for 6 weeks, not since he shot you. Just react.
What the hell were you doing?
Look, you moved funny, I had to shoot.
What do you mean I moved funny? I was standing in a church at a
like
wedding.
A criminal.
What do you mean I look like
those
a
hairy
criminal?
arms, you could be a man in a dress.
Right, you! I'm gonna get you!
Don't be
You need to let go!
Put that gun down. Pouch the piece. Someone could get shot here. Someone could get shot. Pouch that piece, Padre.
Stay where you are.
2 priests left the show in a tank, shooting as they went. So, as the AMU missionaries get trigger holy, Sunday turns to gun day, and America awaits the blast judgment.
This is Alabaster Codified for Tenanan and Brass Eye.
And sadly, crime experts predict that one day, even friendly conversation between mother and daughter will be conducted at gunpoint. Up next, a new scheme for young offenders.
Take the cashback scheme that they're going to try in Toxteth, where young offenders are on a 14-week sentence. Costs about $2,000 a week to keep them in. So rather than spend 28 grand to keep them inside, they give them 25 grand and say, here you are, use that for a positive reason.
I think it's a smashing idea. Yeah, go. Yeah, I do, honestly.
If someone had done that to you, what would have happened?
I don't think you'd have ever heard of me again.
Do you think perhaps enlisting somebody like Richard Branson to sell the cashback scheme might just work, might just get through to people?
I wouldn't say no to that.
I suppose if there was an element of stick Richard Branson up in a balloon watching this situation and saying, there's your £26,000, but I'm watching you from a balloon, and I could see a very long way.
I go along with that.
Now chafing the transmission heads, what is the relationship between crime and race? Using makeup sticks, we transformed our white reporter Tras Dupre into a black man to see if the law would treat him any differently. Within 5 minutes, he'd committed a pocket theft, and by mid-afternoon, he was attacking passers-by with violent muggings and fleecing them viciously on the cobbles. Well, there's the evidence. Mr. Coker, what do you make of that?
Now that I've seen the proof, I apologize to my fellow blacks. I'm sorry.
Mr. Coker, thank you very much. So what's the solution to rising crime, particularly younger and younger? For many, the answer to the crime problem can be summed up in just one word. Bring back Borstal. But did they work? Good question, because Borstals were phased out in 1982.
Get more reports.
Borstals like Falkhurst are to be axed because reports show they're full of men who should have been released years ago.
Jock Bosonnet was sent here as a juvenile offender in 1949. He never left because he kept failing release tests. Like hundreds of others, he remained in Chokey, even though the offences were small and twatty.
When I was 7, I got dressed up as a little city gent and walked into the Bank of England shouting, "Fuck the pound."
While the situation is clearly grave enough to merit a black and white freeze frame, the solution may already be at hand, with the opening of the new harsh pounds for young offenders. Libby Schuss reports.
Leopold Quay opened 6 months ago, right here, and already is being favoured by both main political parties.
And the third party, who are with Ashdown. I'm going inside now, like a bad boy.
The new inmates are welcomed on arrival.
You shit up that hell!
And are sent straight to the shaving room. Here, their eyebrows are shaved off, which undermines their self-respect rather well.
If you think of a fly and you pull its wings off, it'll crawl. And if you push the back half of its body onto the surface it's squiggling on, then you've got its total, undivided attention.
In the Gulf War, Jackson was Allied advisor on psychobattery. At Leopold, his expertise is applied without mercy. The inmate's sleep is frequently interrupted. Room inspections are full of sneaky traps, like the brass moustache, hidden behind a notice board.
Why didn't you polish it?
Sir.
How funny is it?
Not, sir.
Bury the beds.
Match these pillow sheets outside, Bury, now!
The men will dig up their bedclothes again this evening and sleep in them, all earthy. If they'd done better, they might have won a privilege. Despite his criminal mind, this man is behaving well. His reward is the canoe. This time he can sit in the canoe for up to an hour. Meanwhile, the troublemaker is made to sprint blindfold to Jackson's office, where he receives a speaking down.
That is my big shiny shoe, and you are the biggest piece of shit on it. Sir. Lick yourself off my shoe. Lick yourself off my shoe. Actually, shoe! Don't actually do it! Where's your self-recocking spect?
I don't know, sir.
Get out!
Sir.
Now!
Sir.
Look at me! Get out! If you take a seal and hit it very hard in the face every day for 6 weeks, you may turn it into a rather fetching hat.
And the future for these little fuckers? Will they succeed in returning to society?
So you're nearing the end of your training, your regime, and looking forward to joining society again. Tell me, how do you feel about that?
I've got skills.
Skills? For what?
Getting back into society.
Well, you could have a family, and...
I could have, I don't know.
I mean, if you made the effort, became a part of a family, then you could root yourself into the fabric of society more.
I'll root you in.
There is a serious question. I am from society.
Hello.
You're not from society. How do you get back into society?
Up your ass.
There are no simple answers to the problem of punishment, but there is a simple question. Would it really matter if one of these men died?